We're talking Joe Thornton's jersey retirement ceremony and the Sharks still learning how to win.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Western Conference Tuesdays on the Locked On NHL channel. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, we cover your team every day. If you want to be an everyday, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be discussing Joe Thornton's jersey retirement ceremony on a special Saturday night episode. And of course, talking about the Sharks 4-2 loss to the Sabres and how this is very much a learning how to win game for this young Sharks team. So we'll talk about that, dig into the numbers, look at kind of missed opportunities for the Sharks to kind of put this thing away. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Joe Thornton, absolute beautiful. The Sharks, they nail this. Like we saw this a couple years ago with the Marleau jersey retirement. They learned a couple things from that, and they applied it to the Joe Thornton jersey retirement. And what just a great weekend. The only thing that could have made this weekend better is if the Sharks actually won the game, and they plenty of universes where they win this game with the way they played. But from the Legends game on Friday night, wasn't able to go. It was my son's birthday, 7th birthday party, all that stuff. So I wasn't able to make it San Jose for the weekend. Seeing all the clips and stuff like that from, the Legends game and having all the alumni in town, to the actual, the ceremony itself. And I love how they have all a bunch of the players coming back. And it's just great to see, all these guys who you've grew up watching and rooting for and, back together. And I'm sure the stories that are swapped and the inside jokes that go back for 2 decades, etc. It's probably just being a fly on the wall. I'm sure the party that's going on tonight, being a fly on the wall for that has to be a special experience. But credit to the Sharks. They do this thing right. The presentation, having Randy Hahn and Dan Rusanowski kind of emceeing it, having each, you introduce all the players, and then you have kind of the special, the inner circle of players with Douglas Murray and Ryan Clough and Joe Pavelski and Patrick Marleau, and they each kind of do their little video, and you got some videos from some of the other players who former teammates who couldn't be there, like Brent Burns, Tomas Hertl. The Sharks, they do this right, 100% right. And I think big thing they learned from last time with the Marleau is give themselves more time. And this thing starting at 2:30 with a 5 o'clock puck drop, because the guys are going to tell great stories, right? And Joe Thornton's going to, tell a great story and talk about it and tell a bunch of great stories and just give yourself time. And I think that's the big thing they learned was give yourself plenty of time in this, and they 100% did that. But some of my highlights from, just from the Joe Thornton thing, and before we kind of talk, Thornton, a little bit more about Thornton, but hearing Joe Thornton go through all the nicknames, absolutely amazing. Again, some of those nicknames, I'm sure, probably a lot of stories that I'm not allowed to mention on the podcast. That was definitely one of the highlights. Him acknowledging the Hertl thing, saying he would still do it right now, which is just, again, I'm wearing the Director of Vibe shirt with the from Bring Hockey Back, with there's a rooster on the back of the shirt. him just acknowledging that and just kind of like, who else can make that type of joke in their jersey retirement ceremony? Like, it's Joe Thornton. Joe Thornton's the only one. Um, when like, and seeing Thornton like just crying the whole time, um, I was holding it together pretty strong. And then they did the Pavelski video. And when Joe Pavelski talks about game 7, right? And he says, the first thing I see is Joe Thornton right there in my face with this big beard. And he's like, we got you, buddy. We got you, buddy. And like, getting him off. And then Pavelski goes on to talk about how, he's in the locker room. They're putting staples in his head. Like, he hears a horn go off and he's like, what was that? And then, Ray Tuft, who, he's helping him out. It's like, oh, the boys scored one. And the horn goes off again. And Pavelski threw that. And he's like, oh, the boys scored again. And then and then he hears the third one. He's like, oh, the boys, they got 3 now. And Pavelski says he just started crying there because he knew the boys had him. And, hearing him talking about, like, Thornton said, like, put the unit back out there. Like, he knew. And like, seeing that and hearing that, and I'm just, the tears started flowing on my couch with it. And there's like, and of course, right, him, talking about his wife and like him and his whole family there, hearing like from his parents and stuff like that, like, and then them finally hitting the thing and seeing it go up. And it's just like, again, the Sharks do it right. And Thornton 100% deserve, like, Thornton and Marleau up there right now. Like, it makes sense. It makes 100%. Those are your first 2 guys, right? To do this. And to be honest, like, we don't need anybody else for a little while. Like, okay. Nobody else right now. We can have some conversations down the road. But I think Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau, first 2 up there, side by side. I don't know, like, what more San Jose Sharks could you get right now than having Thornton and Marleau up there in the rafters right now. And, I've been, I became a Sharks fan basically when Joe Thornton got here. Like, I grew up as a Philadelphia Flyers fan. I moved to the Bay Area, in 2000, started following the Sharks right after the lockout, right when Joe Thornton gets there. And like, I mean, Joe Thornton Thornton and Marleau are a huge part of my Sharks fandom. And, and it's just it's one, surreal when you start to kind of get a little bit older, like seeing these guys you grew up rooting for so long, like, retire, and seeing these moments of your jersey ceremony. Because I mean, as a Sharks fan, right, if you're, in your mid 30s or whatever, and like you've watched Thornton for, basically your entire adult life, like, there's just so many moments that you can go back and think of things like he did and special moments he had and quotes or whatever. Like, he is a Santa, like a teal. Like, he said it himself, right? I knew as soon as I put on the jersey, teal looked great at me. And who can argue with that? Like, and I'm really glad way my career is doing this and handling this and having these guys around, and Thornton even saying, like, I wanted to pay back my billet family. That's why I'm building Macklin, and like, and him even giving Macklin a shout out for the help in the 6th grade math, like, had me rolling, just because like, that just seems like Thornton. Like, he's just having a good time all the time. He's friends with everybody. He seems genuine about it. Like, it's just an absolutely perfect. The only thing that could have made this weekend better is if the Sharks actually won the game. So, beautiful ceremony. Mike, congrats to the whole Sharks organization. You guys, like I said, you guys kill it every time you do one of these. Again, like I said a couple weeks ago, we should definitely make this alumni game, make like a homecoming weekend type of thing every year, like the weekend before Thanksgiving. Right. Alumni game on Friday night, Barracuda game in the Saturday afternoon at home, Sharks game Sunday night. Like, let's make this a like annual tradition of it. We don't have to retire jerseys, but let's make this like alumni weekend, homecoming weekend, a thing every year, because I think the fans would love it. A great way to connect the past with this beautiful, beautiful future that the Sharks are going to have here. And clearly, I mean, looking at the attendance from the alumni game, that the Texas U is full. People would definitely go. So yeah, let's make it a thing, guys. It's also a thing as the Sharks lost this game. So we're going to talk about that here. Kind of missed opportunities as this Sharks team continue learning to win games. So we'll talk about that here in just 1 second. If you want to go get to the tank to catch a Sharks game, of course, the Sharks home for the slew of games. So if you want to get out of the house with maybe you got family over and you want to go catch a game at the tank, Game Time is the place to go. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have curated deals, make it easier to find the best price on great seats. Of course, you can see your seats before you buy. That way you know when you get to an event, your seats don't stink. Not that there's any bad seats at the tank. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON, NHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, and if you want to go check out another show when you're done with this one, of course, I highly recommend Locked On Fantasy Hockey. If your fantasy hockey team needs some help, need to know who you're picking up from off the waiver wires, who do you need to drop, who you need to target in trades, all that fun stuff, Locked On Fantasy Hockey's got you covered. Or check out one of the other great shows here in the Bay Area, Locked On Niners, Locked On Warriors, Locked On A's, Locked On Giants. Plenty of great stuff here at the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And let's dig into this game. Sharks lose 4-2, and this is one of those I was kind of calling a learning how to win game, right? And this is a very young Sharks team that is trying to establish a new culture. You have a lot of new pieces, et cetera, et cetera. But it's hard to win in sports, especially at the highest level. And one of the, we've seen the Sharks successfully come back in a lot of games this year, but which is a nice trick to have, but good teams and great teams, you know what they do? They get up early and they close games out. And I think that's the Sharks in this game. Again, like we're not calling the Sharks a good or great team right now, but that is kind of the next big step is we've seen them be able to come back from games and make games interesting. But how do you kind of do that next thing of when you do have a lead, like the Sharks found themselves in this game, up 1-0, up 2-1. How do you make it 3-1 and 4-1 and put a team away? And I think that is the next big task for San Jose as they continue to navigate this rebuild. And tonight they're going to be kicking themselves because they had so many opportunities to do that, right? And you look squarely at the power play, which went 0 for 5 tonight, including, and I know it was only 20 seconds, but including you had a 3-on-5. So, I mean, even then, you still had basically almost 4 straight minutes of power play time, and you can't get that next goal. And then to make matters worse, you give up a shorthanded goal, which is just like, right. The power play tonight and the thing that stinks is like the power play looked good. Like the power play, we saw the passing was crisp. Macklin Celebrini gets absolutely robbed on the power play. Like James Reimer. He gets paid to play hockey too. Great, insane save. Like one of the saves of the year where it's like bounces and he's like kind of has to flip his arm around to do it to make the save. Like 100%, like an amazing save. And like Celebrini was shocked that didn't go in because Celebrini's seen that puck go in a million times in his life. But those type of things where you're holding on to a 2-1 lead and this, like, the Sabres are gonna, like, they're fighting for their lives, they're fighting for the playoffs lives. Like, every point counts, especially points against these bottom seller teams. The Sabres need to win these types of games. And you know there was going to be a response, especially the way the Sharks started this game. Awesome, right? I think the shot attempts were like 7-1 or 8-1 at one point to start the game. Even through the second period, like, the Sharks had a pretty clear shot advantage. And you knew the Sabres were going to make a response to try to climb back into this game. And you look back at a lot of missed opportunities, the power play not being able to find the back of the net. Again, James Reimer making some great saves. And you were like, if this game was 3-1, I'd feel a lot better. And you just had a feeling with a 1-goal lead and the response that you're expecting. And that is the next big question for San Jose is, how do you learn to win these games where you find yourself in a position where you are up, right? The Sharks haven't been up in the third period in a lot of games. They're very much been having to kind of come from behind. We've seen the magic from this team a lot this year, but one of the few times where you're up and you're just unable to finish the job. And this is going to be one of those ones where San Jose is going to be definitely kind of kicking itself that they weren't able to finish this thing off, because they deserve to win. Like, the Sharks thoroughly outplayed, and we'll talk about the numbers here in a minute, but like, the Sharks thoroughly outplayed Buffalo, especially like the beginning of the game and the beginning of the second period. Sharks thoroughly outplayed them and probably deserve to win this game. But yeah, it's a little bit tough. So kind of my other big kind of takeaway from this, I know Jack Thompson had a bad penalty at the end of the game. It looks like, so about 3 minutes left or so, Thompson looks like he loses an edge, kind of collides and takes a penalty that kind of basically puts the nail in the coffin, as the Sharks had to then kill penalty, and had 1 minute to try to kind of find a tying goal. But Thompson needs to play more, man. I thought he looked good on Thursday night. I thought he looked good again tonight. You see him jumping in the offense and stuff. Like, I still want the Sharks to try to get to a world where you could have 3 puck moving defensemen, like one on each level, like one each pairing of the defense. And Ruda, I thought, looked okay tonight too, which is, Cody CC still makes your mind-boggling plays every once in a while, which we saw again tonight. But like, the defense is still trying to figure things out from there. So yeah, this game it's so frustrating, because it feels like we could have had a really nice, like, Joe Thornton Sharks win, 3-2 or whatever, and like really talked about, like, man, the Sharks team starting to kind of figure things out. They stole some points that they maybe shouldn't have. Like, now they win a game where they thoroughly outplay their opponent. You play the Kings on Monday, a team that you beat, and I know the Kings are kind of having some ups and downs here, and still a good team though, but like, you feel like you should be able to at least play with the Kings. You got the Kraken coming up. You got Ottawa. Like, you have a chance to really build some momentum here going into, coming out of Thanksgiving. And this is a game where you feel like you gave it away. So we'll dig into the numbers of this game, kind of talk about what went right for San Jose, what went wrong, look at the lines, all that good stuff here in just 1 second. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5, get $150 on bonus bets if you win. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So we get the hunch in the middle of a game and check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more. The same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, let's dig into the numbers of this game. So we had 43 minutes and 27 seconds of 5-on-5. Again, the third period was a hot mess. We had with three Sharks power plays, a Sabres penalty, a power play, and then 6-on-5 to end the game. But Sharks, though, again, 19 shot attempts in the first period. To the Sabres also had 19. Second period, 24-19 shot attempts. The third period at 5-on-5, 2-15 shot attempts. So Sabres actually outshot the Sharks, at least shot attempt wise, 48-45 at 5-on-5. Actual shots, 24-23 in favor of the Sabres. Scoring chances for 28-14 favor of the Sharks. High danger chances 8-2 in favor of the Sharks. 2.37 to 1.21 expected goals for in favor of the Sharks. So yes, the shot advantage attempts were a little bit in favor of the Sabres, but that quality, that's where they like, man, it would have been nice to get one of those past Reimer type of scenarios where you could have been up 3-1 heading into, the third period or type like, very frustrating. So, but yeah, the third period though, like especially where after you've given up 2 goals right away, only be able to muster 2 shot attempts in 9.5 minutes, not good. Like not 2-15, and the Sabres were pushing, especially to start the third period there. But that's where a team you have to like. That's a huge learning experience for the Sharks. There is, again, managing the game that Ryan Wysocki likes to talk about so much there. So looking at the lines tonight, Lundline played 10-24. Eklund was a game time decision, ended up playing, of course, but something to keep an eye on there with him. 10-24, 11-19 shot attempts, 4-10 actual shots on goal. Had a goal, gave up a goal as well. 0.71 to 0.26 expected goals for, 7-7 high danger scoring chances, and 2-1 high danger chances. So again, that kind of, they got some quality looks there. But Cunnin, Wenberg, Toffoli played 9-9, 11-11 shot attempts, 4-3 actual shots, 1 goal for, 0.41 to 0.1 expected goals for. Congrats, Luke Cunnin. Cunnin does have a really nice celly. I will say, like, dude looks super excited every time he scores. I do enjoy that. Also, Zetterlund, I forgot to mention this. Zetterlund, like, stroking the beard and pointing to the, like, Thornton's jersey retirement. Beautiful, beautiful celebration. But Toffoli, another assist tonight. I felt like he was really close to scoring as well, especially, like, if the Sharks don't take that penalty, the Thompson penalty there, and especially at 6, if you get like 3 minutes to 6-on-5 there, I feel like they probably find a way, especially with the way kind of Toffoli was shooting there. He was pretty close tonight to getting one. Smith, Celebrini, Goodrow tonight, they played pretty well as well. 807, 10-6 shot attempts, 7-3 actual shots on goal. Gave up a goal, 0.48 to 0.09 expected goals for, 6-1 scoring chances, 1-0 high danger chances. Especially in the first period, I thought Smith looked really great. Smith and Celebrini, a couple times where they were just a little bit off on kind of some of those give and go type of plays between them. But Celebrini, I thought was excellent again tonight. I can't say enough about the kid. He's so damn good. Like, his ability to just, that shot of his is just very underrated. And he's probably gonna have nightmares about that James Reimer save. Like, how many times is that a goal for him? But the kid kept shooting, like, and I kind of feel like he's about to go on a tear here when it comes to the scoring. Like, been a little, and as you expect with an 18-year-old kid, it's been a little bit up and down with him with some of the scoring, but I wouldn't be surprised if really quick here we see like a nice little tear from Celebrini. So Kostin, Delandry, Grunstrom played 731, 11-3 shot attempts, which is very nice for that group. 6-2 shot attempts, 0.49 to 0.23. 62 scoring chances and 2-1 high danger chances. So, like you got solid performances for basically every line. Like the Lund line was arguably your worst line tonight, just at least when it came to shot attempts. And again, it's just like that fourth line. They had a couple opportunities there too. Like if you could get one out of them, and the Celebrini Smith Goodrow line looked solid tonight. If you get one out of, like, you kind of point to a couple of these opportunities where you're just like, man, did they get one from them? It's a completely different game. So Mackenzie Blackwood tonight, 27 saves on 30 shots, 3 goals against, 1.78 expected goals for in all situations. So, but like even then, it's a shorthanded goal. Like none of the goals are like, you kind of point to Blackwood and be like, man, you probably should have saved that. Like, I'm not pinning this on Blackwood. I think he's been too good this year to, pin anything on him tonight. So 900 save percentage, 304 goals against, 3 for 3 on high danger, 7 of 10 on mid danger, and 16 of 16 low danger for Blackwood tonight. So, like I've said all episode, this is definitely one of those you're probably going to kick yourself for not winning this game, but that is part of a young rebuilding team. Is how do you what do you learn from this game, and how do you apply it next time? And I'm curious to see when the Sharks have, a narrow lead in the second period. Do they build on it and kind of try to put the game away, so then you can park the bus and cycle all your lines and do that type of thing in the third period that you've earned? Like that's the next step for this team, is learning from this type of experience. So thanks again for hanging out. Special starting episode. We will be back on Monday. Got a fun one I'm kind of planning on, doing the research on right now. So we'll have you guys something up for that. Monday, we'll have a recap from Monday night. We'll have a recap on the Kings game. We'll have recaps from all the games. With Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving on Thursday, there'll be a recap on Wednesday night. And then the Friday episode will be a recap of the Kraken game Friday afternoon. So, there won't be like a Thursday night into Friday episode that I typically do. That episode will come out Friday after the Kraken game. So make sure you guys are following along, though, wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. I'm really close to like 3,600 subscribers on YouTube. So if you haven't done it yet, hit the subscribe button. If you want to support me, that's like one of the best ways to do so. Subscribe, leave a review, all that fun stuff. Wherever you get podcasts, follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until tomorrow, bye, friends.